All right, for more reaction to the Constitutional Court judgments, we are joined now by General Bantu Holomisa, leader of the United Democratic Movement. Good to have you, General. Thank you very much for your time. There are two judgments that are coming out. One is the one saying President Cyril Ramaphosa didn't act, I suppose, irrationally or unconstitutionally in suspending the public protector. Does this put this matter to bed now in terms of the actions of the president?
Well, I don't think so. It will depend, of course, to the public protector and his legal advisors as to whether they want to apply for rescission. I guess that if that would be the case, the two most important areas there would be whether the Concourt did not, or did the Concourt deal seriously with one of the key issues raised in the case. Remember, that was the case of conflict of interest in terms of on the question of Parole, because it was raised in the papers. I didn't come across with the judgment so far, but maybe some people have detected that they have commented on that. The other one is that the Concourt did not consider the start of the 194 inquiry as prescribed in the Constitution. In other words, we will show, when we discuss this in the inquiry, at the end of the inquiry, that the president started the process of suspending the public protector, I think on the 17th of March in 2022. That was before even the evidence leaders were appointed. They were only appointed in April, and the hearings started, as you know, only in July. So it is clear, therefore, that he acted beyond his constitutional powers. But the Concourt did not give serious consideration to such an important issue. So I think if the public protector wants to apply or follow the route of rescission, those are the key areas I think the Concourt didn't pronounce. But be that as it may, I don't think where the public protector will appear for the last time in court, especially in the Concourt, given the spat between her and the chairperson of the inquiry. We don't know where will this process of, which was filed today, for the public for the chairperson of the inquiry to recuse himself. What if he says no? Obviously, once he says no, it might end up, we might end up back in court, up to Concourt again. Mm. So if they had just swallowed their pride, that is the ANC in Parliament, remove this chap, put another one, and then we finalize this inquiry.
Yeah. So do you envisage the cumulative effect of all these factors that you're mentioning being that time is going to expand on this issue before any finalization of the matter?
Obviously, this process cannot be finalized before end of July, as they think it would be done so. I mean, unless we are we are being converted to be just a kangaroo court. Procedures are procedures, and no one is going to think that people are not going to look into such things. Even the Concourt and the judges themselves, they admit publicly that they do make mistakes. I've just cited two things to you this evening. That if they have not pronounced on these two, conflict of interest as well as this, the start of the inquiry, the whole thing would be questionable. In actual fact, I think the courts said that, I would say it would appear that the Concourt ruled in favor of the public protector in order to make sure that all their judgments in the past around this impeachment process will not be compromised. If they've given a judgment in favor of the public protector, it would have nullified the whole process. I don't know whether you hear.
Well, the court does in section 116 of the judgment touch on this question of conflict of interest and the Parole matter, and saying, having established the standard on the facts of this matter, there is a basis for holding the president that the president exposed himself to a situation of invoking the risk of conflict of interest between his official responsibility and the private interest. A question. In this regard, the court says, I will focus only on whether employing the above standard, there was exposure to risk of envisaged section 96(2)(b). If there was not, then this is the end of the matter. And they found that there was not. And so it's the end of the matter.
Well, we will hear, of course, this is just my poor analysis of the situation. I'm not a legal eagle.
Yeah. It says the president cooperated with the process of Parole. The process was investigated, it went on, so there was really no detail that seems to think the process advantages the president in any way.
Well, we still argue around that, even whether those questions which were presented by the public protector who was suspended 24 hours after that, they had been answered or, yes, even dealt by the so-called investigation which has taken place. You know that the whole country is not accepting those resolutions of the acting public protector. But this case, my friend, it is not going to die this year.
Yeah.
Everyone must just swallow their pride. People are going to want answers.
Let's move on then to the other matter coming out of the Concourt, and that is this matter of President Jacob Zuma and the medical parole. Does this set a precedent now going forward in terms of the abuse of this thing called medical parole? Well,
I think the judges have said their piece, and I think we should accept that decision. What the judges have done, they've thrown the book back to the executive to say to them, go and sort out your mess. So it's up to the politicians now, the executive, the Minister of Justice and Correctional Services and his staff, to say on this, what should we be doing? There are two things which I think would come up. One is the Correctional Services will submit a report to the Minister with recommendations on what line of action must be taken. The obvious one would that process will not end up in the desk of the Minister. It will be taken to the Cabinet, where the President and Ministers will have to take a political decision. Such a decision may lead to two things. They will say, all right, where is the medical report which was done or conducted by the military medical section? Does the Cabinet approve those doctors, do they agree with that report? Because Zuma, there's nothing which is going to involve Zuma now. Zuma was, if he went to the doctors, they made the report. Zuma was taken out of jail. He didn't jump or ran out of jail. He was released by the correctional services. So I don't think Zuma will go back to jail, because this is an administrative bundle by the correctional services and the Department of Justice.
Do you think at least they should be pursued, or even the former commissioner should be pursued for a decision that he made?
Well, they can take disciplinary actions instead if the cabinet feels so. But all I'm saying, let us separate these things. Judiciary have done their work. They've closed the file. They've thrown that file back to President Cyril Ramaphosa and his cabinet and his administration. So it's up to them now to take a political decision to say, notwithstanding what has been said, because of the following grounds, we are saying Zuma will not go to jail, or that Zuma will go to jail because of the following reasons. But one would have to justify, why would you punish Zuma because of the administrative bundle by the former commissioner and the minister? That commissioner, Fraser, people must understand these things. He would have not released President Zuma without the Minister of Justice knowing, without President Cyril Ramaphosa knowing, or the entire cabinet. These people mustn't lie to us.
So as the United Democratic Movement, would you support the view that says the time that former President Zuma spent out on medical parole should be considered to be the fulfillment of the sentence of 15 months?
Well, we have precedents, many precedents in this country where people are released on medical parole. And we have never had a precedent where a medical parole is questioned and to such an extent that a person is sent to jail. I'm a former head of government in Transkei. I remember Chief George Matanzima, the Prime Minister then. When we took over, he was charged and he was sentenced to jail. And then 9 years, and then I think he served about 2 or 3 years, and then he was released on parole, medical parole. We didn't question that. But at the end of the day, a political decision must be taken. It's time that Cyril now must come up in the open and say and address the country on this issue, because it's clear that there was a mistake by whoever, and they didn't charge. Right. You can't then say Zuma must go to jail again after he was medicated. There was a medical report to say this person must go home.
General, appreciate your time. Let's give it there. Much appreciated. The United Democratic Movement leader there, General Bantu Holomisa.